All right, let me ask you something. What if a story, a really old folk tale, actually held the key to understanding, well, everything that's going on in our world right now? That's exactly what we're diving into today with Amitav Ghosh's incredible novel, Gun Island. It's this amazing story that somehow connects ancient myths to the very real, very urgent crises of our changing planet. And that's the big, fascinating idea at the very heart of this book. It's basically saying, hey, if you really want to get a handle on the challenges we're facing today, things like migration, climate change, the whole shebang, you can't just look at the here and now. You've got to look back, way back, specifically to a really mysterious piece of folklore. So, where do we start? Well, our journey begins in the exact same place as it does for the novel's main character, with a really strange, kind of haunting piece of Bengali folklore. So right at the center of this legend is this super eerie tale about a character called the Gun Merchant and a powerful, maybe even terrifying, snake goddess named Mansa Devi. And this story, it just has this vibe. It feels ancient, for sure, but it also feels prophetic. It completely blurs the lines between what we think is rational and real and what we'd normally just brush off as a myth. Okay, so on the surface, the myth seems pretty simple, right? You've got this rich, stubborn merchant. He ticks off a powerful goddess. She gets angry and curses him. So he has to flee, trying to escape her wrath. I mean, he's being chased by snakes and spiders until he finally builds a shrine to calm her down in a place called the Sundarbans. Sounds straightforward enough. But as you're about to see, this is so much more than just a simple fairy tale. And this is where the whole story just flips. It goes from being this old piece of folklore to a full-on, thrilling investigation. It's all about these little linguistic clues that start to pop up, and they begin to peel back the layers of the myth, kind of like an onion, revealing this whole hidden history underneath. The first huge breakthrough, it all comes down to a single word. So the merchant's name is Banduki. Now, in Bengali, that sounds like banduk, which means gun. Makes sense, he's a gun merchant. But get this, it's actually a linguistic echo of al-Banduki, which was the Arabic name for Venice. And just like that, boom, a local Bengali folktale suddenly explodes into this epic international saga. So with this kind of linguistic detective work, a real-life 17th century trade route starts to emerge from all these fantastical names in the myth. Gun Island? Turns out that's Venice. The land of palm sugar candy, that's a poetic name for Egypt. And the island of chains, Sicily. The myth wasn't just a story. It was a map, a literal map hidden in plain sight. Okay, but this is where the novel makes its most powerful move, I think. It takes this decoded history, this ancient map, and connects it directly to the crisis we're all dealing with right now. It's this huge revelation that the past, well, it's not really past at all, is it? The book draws this absolutely chilling parallel. On the one hand, you have the gun merchant's journey centuries ago. He gets captured by pirates, sold into slavery. On the other hand, you have the modern-day migration of characters in the book, people like Tipu and Rafi. They're being exploited by human traffickers, facing dangers you can't even imagine. See the connection? The gun merchant was fleeing the wrath of a goddess, but today's migrants, they're fleeing poverty, violence, and a collapsing environment. The details might have changed, but that desperate human journey, it's still terrifyingly the same. But that raises a huge question, right? What's the real force driving both of these journeys, centuries apart? What's the unseen connection? Well, the novel argues that the answer is a global environmental crisis. A crisis that, whether we realize it or not, connects every single one of us. I mean, just think about the two main settings of the story. You've got the mangrove forests of the Sundarbans in India and the ancient canals of Venice in Italy. It is absolutely not a coincidence that in the real world, both of these places are literally sinking, both threatened by rising sea levels. And then the story takes us to Los Angeles, LA, a city that's basically a symbol of wealth and power. And what's happening there? It's being absolutely ravaged by uncontrollable wildfires. It's this incredibly stark reminder that climate chaos isn't just a problem for over there, for developing nations. No one is immune, not even the super rich. And here's the thing, it's not just humans who are on the move, who are being displaced. The novel shows us this whole world of, well, non-human migrations. You've got spiders showing up in totally unexpected places, dolphins beaching themselves, even these tiny shipworms literally eating away at the foundations of Venice. Every single one of these is a sign that the entire ecosystem is in deep, deep trouble. Okay, so what does this all add up to? What's the big takeaway? This is where the novel just masterfully weaves all these different threads together: the myth, the history, the human migration, the climate chaos, to deliver one single, incredibly powerful message. Kashash actually has a name for this cultural blindness we all seem to have. He calls it the Great Derangement. And what it is our collective inability to see the connections. We see all these seemingly random events happening around us, and we just can't seem to grasp that the strange, the unbelievable things, the fires, the floods, the weird animal migrations, they're not random. They're all symptoms of one single, huge, overarching crisis. So, the central thesis of Gun Island is this: our modern, rational world is starting to look a lot like the world of ancient myths. The strange, the uncanny, is becoming commonplace. You know those stories our ancestors told to make sense of a world full of unpredictable, powerful forces? Well, that's becoming our reality all over again. And that means those myths, they aren't just stories, they're vital tools. They're roadmaps for understanding our deeply interconnected world. And that leaves us with one last, pretty provocative thought to chew on. If one ancient Bengali myth can so perfectly map the crises of our modern world, it makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other warnings, embedded in the stories and legends from our own cultures, are we totally ignoring right now? What is our world desperately trying to tell us, if only we learn how to listen?